Well, there ain't anyone who looks like me. That's why your mother liked me so much. Now fuck off. I got work to do.
Styx, Master of Shadows is an infiltration game with RPG elements taking place in a dark fantasy universe, where you sneak, steal, and assassinate your way through as a goblin named Styx.
Well, according to Ozcan, the transport office is at the center of the embassy. Distinguished diplomats, you will have a surprise invitee at the negotiating table.
If that's not enough to pique your interest, hopefully the rest of this video will make you at least want to try this game and its sequel when they both go on Supercell. Styx released in 2014 and was met with some overall positive reviews, but you would never hear about it. When I mention it to friends and find out that they've played it, most of the common reaction I get is, it was alright, and that's about it. Styx was developed by Cyanide Studio and is a prequel entry to the Of Orcs and Men universe. Cyanide Studio is a French AA game studio that worked on titles such as the Blood Bowl series and Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. Graphically, it wasn't impressive for its time, and it definitely screams that this was the best they could do. However, whoever was leading the art team deserves a fucking medal. The Tower of Akanash, a fortress that stands on a floating piece of rock where the entirety of the game takes place, looks and feels connected and cohesive. Whether you're in the bowels of the tower itself, in the prison, or in the more regal dwellings of Governor Barrowman, you know you are in Akanash. Some games struggle to pull that off, but Styx manages it. Character models for a game that was released in 2014 are not that impressive. Textures are a bit rough on character models and even Styx himself. This is to be expected from a AA dev, but I think just a bit more work could have gone into some of those assets. They go back and forth between using in-game models and still images with voiceover work for cutscenes, and it's kind of annoying in a sense. It's annoying because they can do both, but I don't think they should. They should have just picked one style and ran with it, but that's just a nitpick of mine. For a stealth game, sound is of the utmost importance. Everything from directional sound of where an enemy may be speaking, to the amount of sound Styx himself produces, and how enemies react to it, are important for any stealth title. When Styx falls from a ledge, he makes an audible thud, but when landing on carpet, the thud is muffled. This is standard for most stealth games nowadays, but it should still be appreciated. Instead of the sound of a normal foot with more weight striking the floor, you hear Styx's light footsteps pitter-patter almost like a toddler's when Styx isn't crouched. It's just too bad that running is a bad idea in a stealth title and you won't hear it that often. The music was created by a French composer, Henri Pierre Pellegrin, who's also worked on some of Cyanide's other titles like Styx, Shards of Darkness, and Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. Using mainly string instruments such as cellos and violins, with drums for most of the tracks, and the occasional choir. The music fits really well with the setting, and in addition, it helps stand out from other fantasy titles. The slow, low tempo is exactly what players need to be able to think calmly about their next approach. The menu music sums up what to expect. It gives you that slow, methodical feeling that strikes you fast with a few notes outside of the normal range, then goes back into the slow melody. Much like an assassin, nothing happens for a long time, then everything happens all at once, then back to the shadows it goes. As I said earlier, the entire game takes place in Akanash, a tower that houses something called the World Tree. a tree that produces a magical substance called amber that elves and Styx use for magical purposes while the humans are addicted to the stuff. With that in mind, in the lower parts of the tower you'll see the absolutely massive roots of the world tree, and you can sometimes use those to navigate some of the levels, while the upper portions of Akanash look like your typical fantasy castle at times. Part of the joy of exploring these environments is the absolute verticality of most areas. The high ceilings with either anchors or beams to maneuver around with allow Styx to traverse some areas without ever touching the ground, but at a cost. You see, the devs knew that most players would wisely use the environment to their advantage. However, there are places where you must put yourself in tight situations to progress, so you just can't dodge all the enemies all the time. Additionally, someone had the brightest of ideas by not placing items in these high up places. Your items and consumables are not found in the rafters of a hallway. No, they're found where the guards hang out, because where else would a guard set down their health potion? Absolute genius. The one damning thing about the environments, however, aren't the environments themselves, but the fact that you have to replay each level twice and one level 3 times. It offers a new and unique challenge, but you'll definitely feel the burn eventually. I can see why the devs wanted to do this. It makes sense to use assets to their full potential, and it does incentivize you to explore parts of a level you haven't yet. It sounds great in theory, but in practice it just gets old. Any stealth game worth its salt gives players numerous options to complete their objectives, and Styx kind of hits this mark in some ways and doesn't in others. Styx isn't just some regular goblin. He has amber running through his veins, and that lets him create clones to distract guards so he can sneak by. He can go invisible when things get a bit too hectic, and the amber also lets him have Batman vision. Sticking to the shadows is the name of the game. Styx has an amber mark that tells the player when Styx is in darkness. However, that doesn't mean enemies can't see you. If they're close enough, they can still see Styx, which is fine. There are torches scattered throughout the game in which Styx can extinguish. Wow, that's actually really hard to say. But there are light sources such as braziers, to give one example, that cannot be extinguished, putting the player in a challenging spot. Aside from Styx's powers, he has a small arsenal of physical tools at his disposal. He has his dagger, throwing knives, and pocket sand to put out torches from a distance. Honestly, if the player is skilled or experienced enough, this will be all they need. Styx also for some reason has snot that is poisonous to humans. With that in mind, find the communal drinking sack or fruit basket, do your thing, and reenact Jonestown. There are numerous OSHA violations located around Akanash just for Styx to capitalize on the unsafe working conditions. See someone standing under a loaded crane or chandelier? Unfasten the anchor by hand or with a throwing knife and watch the chaos, or sneak by unseen. If the need arises to kill a guard, you can kill them quickly, but they'll shout at the last second. Or you can do a muffled kill. It takes longer, leaves you exposed, but the victim won't be able to cry out. Be careful though, sometimes the thud from the body dropping will alert the other guards. It's best to pick up the body before it hits the ground. There are only a few ways to hide bodies. Other than the abyss that is Akanash, you have storage trunks and wall lockers to stuff them in. If those aren't an option, you also have vials of acid that Styx borrowed from the cartel. Just pour one out for the deceased and no one will be the wiser. You can get through the game without killing a single guard. The way to accomplish this is by using distractions and the parkour/traversal system that sometimes functions. This isn't Assassin's Creed or Tears of the Kingdom levels of parkour, but it gets the job done. My biggest gripe is that you're spending more time looking for anchor points rather than using the actual environment. All of these things can be upgraded through the skill tree. What kind of fantasy game would this be if it didn't have one? You can probably guess what most of these do, but I want to highlight the fact that you cannot aerial kill or kill an enemy while hanging from a ledge unless you have that skill unlocked. That's the definition of fucking stupid. So until you lock those skills, killing enemies from behind will be your only option. The way to earn skill points in Styx is by doing small side objectives like stealing the governor's wife's ashes, hunting down relics, and completing levels. I mentioned a moment ago that you can get through every level in the game without killing a guard. It's one of the 4 insignias you can get in any level. They're challenges. I don't know why they just didn't call them level challenges, but that's what they are. This serves as a way to replay levels like not raising alarms, not killing a single enemy, unlocking your inner speedrunner, and collecting all of the gold coins in an act that cannot be used to purchase anything. I don't know either. Earning any of these 4 insignias earns you some bonus skill points to unlock more skills. You can also complete an act and immediately replay it to try to unlock these as you go. I won't spoil this here, but there are different types of enemies that will challenge you to think outside the box in certain scenarios. Some enemies you just won't be able to get rid of at all simply because of the circumstances in a particular area. Yeah, you could kill them, but there's no way to dispose of the body, and that will put the guards on alert. Let's talk about that now. In some instances, you may find yourself discovered and running away from enemies because of a mistake you made or Styx just didn't grab onto a ledge like he should have. You escape and re-enter the same area, but something's different. The guards' patrol patterns are different, and you'd be right. The guards have a typical patrol pattern you'd expect to see in a game like this. However, when they've been alerted to your presence, that patrol pattern changes. Not only that, but now they are much easier to be alerted. This is one of the ways the game punishes the player for making mistakes, and is fantastic. If you do decide to not run away and instead fight, Styx can only manage one-on-one combat. Any more than that and Styx will die. And some enemies, Styx can't even fight. There is no post-game to Styx, Master of Shadows. Once you've completed the game, you're treated to the ending cutscene and credits roll. Your last save before the end of the game serves as a point to where you can replay levels you've already completed to grab some of the collectibles you've missed, or maybe even complete some of the 4 level challenges for each level. Plus, you can use this save so you don't have to play levels from beginning to end in sequential order. The game took me roughly 12 hours to beat. Now, I didn't chase after any of the level insignias or go after every golden coin in every level like I wanted to when I started, but it's a pretty solid length on its own. Now to polish. I don't know where to start with this. There's a lot wrong with this game, so much so that I can easily see that it turns off people who are stealth nerds. Because one thing a stealth game must do above all else is be consistent. Like whether a guard can see you at a certain distance or in darkness or not. Whether or not Styx will grab a ledge when you do or don't want him to. Or whether or not you're in control. You see, all these things will be inconsistent in everyone's playthroughs. Yes, even yours. Darkness is so finicky and really kind of a toss-up in certain areas. Yeah, you have your amber mark to tell you that you are in darkness, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't or won't be seen. Are you really concealed by the shadows, or are you just LARPing in the corner? You could be setting up a jump that you know you can make and Styx will decide not to grab onto an anchor, or he's just short of a ledge, then you fall and have to reload. Modern stealth titles, notably the Assassin's Creed series, have made their parkour insanely easy, but that's because they know they have to keep people playing, so they'll be more inclined to buy the next Assassin's Creed game. They make it easy by magnetizing the player to a surface or object they can grab onto, even if sometimes the player is so grossly out of range from grabbing onto it. It keeps the gameplay going and lowers the amount of frustration. Styx doesn't give a shit. If you're just an inch short of grabbing a ledge, oh well, back to your last save you go. Which isn't really that bad of an idea. If you misjudge a jump, you should be punished. But you'll find yourself questioning why Styx didn't grab on when he clearly could have. This puts players in a terrible spot because they don't know if they've made a mistake or if it's just the janky parkour system that caused them the fall. Finally, you're not in control all of the time. When Styx does manage to grab onto a ledge, what I think is supposed to happen and what happens some of the time is a prompt displays on screen to tell you that you can drop down or climb further up the ledge. A lot of times, Styx will decide on his own to just jump up. I'm not kidding. I've let go of the keyboard midair for Styx to grab onto a ledge and for him to just jump on his own. Now imagine there's a guard at the top of that ledge just waiting for a goblin to fuck around and find out. Styx gets killed and you're sent back 10 to 15 minutes ago with the absolutely silly save system that this game has. I'll be talking about the story next, so if you don't want spoilers, go to here. The game starts off with Styx being captured, then interrogated by Governor Barrowman, a politician who secured an alliance with the elves that allows humans to care for a world tree and make use of the amber it produces, and his son Aaron, who oversees amber production and the prison. They're under the assumption that elves are working against them, and Styx plays on that suspicion. Not only that, but he goes on to explain that he's been lurking around Akanash for years looking for a way to get to the heart of the world tree for his own goals, and telling the governor what he was doing up to the moment he was captured. This is where the game begins. Styx wakes up in the distillery that serves as a tutorial level teaching you how to play the game. Outside of the distillery, Styx meets a friend by the name of Ozcan, a former captain of the guard of Akanash who makes more money from selling things Styx steals, instructs Styx where to get a pry bar to access the hideout that serves as sort of a central hub area where you can restock your items and upgrade Styx, located in the sewers. Ozcan also gives Styx theft and assassination side missions through the game. Throughout the story, Styx suffers from an immense intermittent headache due to his use of amber that causes a lapse in memory, so him not remembering some things or some people like Ozcan is par for the course. Once getting the pry bar and going into the hideout, you're treated with a cutscene of Styx further explaining his scheme to break into the Akanash library to steal the plans of the tower left by the architect Querberus. A librarian by the name of Ector is standing by to help Styx into the library of Akanash. It's never really elaborated on to why he's helping Styx, but hey, the story's moving. Once inside the library, you solve a puzzle that reveals the floor plans to the entire tower written in amber on the walls. From the library, you go through the boiler room as a shortcut back to the hideout. In the next cutscene, Styx reveals something absolutely devastating to Behrman. Because of the humans' and elves' consumption of amber, Styx has been able to read their minds and sift through their memories for important information regarding obtaining the Heart of the World Tree. He also reveals that the elves have been spying on any human who's consumed the amber and that they know of a human-operated smuggling operation going on. Hell, even Styx drops a bomb in front of the torturer.
You're thinking that this morning he sold the pipe of a prisoner to be able to pay for a little smuggled amber. And also that his balls are itching.
He then reveals that he knows Behrman has the only key to access the gate that leads to the tree, and that the key is in his personal quarters. In this flashback, you do just that. Styx heads to the docks, stuffs himself into a trunk that was destined to be placed close to Behrman's quarters, overhears how to access the secret chamber, and breaks in. Navigating your way through this area can be a bit difficult, especially with some of the enemies being impervious to damage, but you can manage. That's one of the few joys Styx offers, the ability to overcome these challenges in more ways than just one. In the secret chamber, you find a floor puzzle from 2004, steal the key, and discover that Behrman can spy on anyone in the tower with an advanced listening system. Well, it's advanced for a fantasy setting anyway. The next cutscene shows Behrman storm off to search his secret room to see if Styx really did steal the key since they couldn't find it on him when they searched him, and leaves his son Aaron in charge, and he gives the order that guarantees Styx will never reach the World Tree.
Guards, listen to me. I order you to destroy the bridge that leads to the heart of the tree.
Ah, curse you! Do you have any idea what that would mean?
A simple preventative measure. And then I'm sure that you'll provide me with a good reason to break this alliance with the elves.
Styx further tells the story leading up to his capture, saying that he needed to free an ally in cell number 5. You sneak your way down to the prisons, enter cell 5, and free your friend.
You should thank me, torturer. No one will speak inside your head ever again. What's going on here? Right on time. Rakash. Who are you, damn it? Why? Who were you expecting? You thought you were gonna free somebody better looking?
That's right, your friend is the real Styx. You are a clone. I've been omitting a small but very important detail this entire time. At the beginning of each stage, it starts with,
Hey, Rakash. The heart of the tree is over there. Hey, Rakash. You're gonna move your butt, find that library, and dig us out the secret plans of the atrium. Hey, Rakash, one last effort.
which makes the player think that Styx just calls himself Rakash in his inner monologue. But the thing that ties it together is your clone ability. On the very few occasions that the player Styx calls back a clone, he'll utter,
Your job's done, Rakash.
That blew me away when I first heard Styx call a clone Rakash. It tied it together perfectly. You're not talking to yourself at the beginning of every level. No, that's Styx in cell number 5 telling the player Styx what to do. From here on, I'll describe Styx as Styx and the Styx you control as player Styx. Styx then stabs player Styx. Jesus Christ, this is going to get ridiculous. Styx stabs player Styx, leaves him for dead, and runs off to steal the heart of the world World Tree. Player Styx must now find a way out of the prison while enemy goblins are running around. While escaping, you come across Styx torturing Aaron Barrowman, finding out that Querberus is still alive and locked up inside the tower, and Player Styx is in the perfect spot to overhear the conversation. You find out Querberus is locked up in the bowels of the atrium to perfect the amber distillation process. Before heading there, Player Styx goes back to the hideout to restock. You find Ozcan there, who is surprised to see you, which is odd since I thought Ozcan was blind, but it really doesn't matter. Ozcan was in on the whole plan with Styx, using Player Styx for his own gains. You have the option of swiftly or slowly killing Ozcan before moving on to find Querberus. This is the genius that built Akanash.
What's your name? Stephen? Felix? Oh, was it Manfred? I'm sorry, Manfred.
And to no one's surprise, he's gone crazy after being locked up for years perfecting the amber distillation process. From here is a pseudo-escort quest to bring Querberus back to the hideout to discover how to get to the heart of the World Tree. But Styx tells Player Styx to bring Querberus to him, but Player Styx, god damn it. You have to bring Querberus to Evil Styx, but instead you try to assassinate Evil Styx. But guess what? You're just a clone. Evil Styx gets the upper hand and leaves you for dead. Player Styx is saved by an elf ambassador who tasks you with recovering documents that exposes Aaron's involvement in amber smuggling and distillation. You give these documents to the elf so he can confront the governor of his son's involvement at their next meeting to avoid an all-out war in the tower, but Evil Styx has other plans. Aaron takes up the mantle of governor and leaves the tower to swear loyalty to the emperor, therefore locking in his role as the governor of Akanash. Before leaving, he orders his guards to arrest every elf and hold them in the prisons. Player Styx figures helping the elves will make them help him in return.
What the fuck are you doing? I was sent here by your ambassador, goddammit!
We know. He took a risk by allying himself with an impure creature like yourself.
Nope, they lock you up and now it's your job to escape and face a new enemy. The elves can sense Player Styx because of the amber that runs through him, so being quiet and outside is no longer enough to sneak by them. Hell, even invisibility doesn't work up close. After sneaking past all of them, you confront Styx in a two-phase fight where you don't even fight him one-on-one. Player Styx destroys the heart of the World Tree and the Tower of Akanash falls from the sky, and Player Styx is now just Styx. And along with Styx are hundreds, maybe thousands of other goblins ready to wreak havoc across the world. So what was Evil Styx's motivation for the Heart of the World Tree in the first place? Well, he was an orc at one point in time and he needed the heart to convert back from his goblin form. It's not exactly elaborated on how he became a goblin, but it is important that in this universe, goblins don't really exist.
So, you're advancing on your classification of creature from the prisons?
I can't find anything conclusive. The skin color and the teeth are similar to the orcs, I think.
But it's much too small to be part of the orc family.
I know, but it looks like nothing we know. We'll have to invent a new name for this race.
But hey, it's enough motivation to keep the ball rolling. The game's coming up on its 10th birthday this year, and it does have a sequel that I'll be covering soon. That sort of explains why some of the things never got fixed, but it's still a shame. Most people like to play games in sequential order if they can, if it's not like Final Fantasy where the stories really don't matter. With this being the first entry into the Styx series, it's definitely pushed people away from trying out the sequel, which is a shame because most of the time, sequels are way better than the first iterations of anything. Styx is one of my own personal cult classics. Is it great? No. Is it good? It's marginal by today's standards and was just okay when it released in 2014. Should you give it a try? That's up to you. If you've liked what you've seen, then get it and the sequel for a discount when you can. Expect some jankiness, but also understand that this was made by a AA dev. The main selling point of playing a goblin in a fantasy setting is amazing. It's just a sad reality that the developers couldn't put enough time into the polish of the game, which I think in turn would have made it more successful. The Styx Master of Shadows will go down in history as one of those games that tried something different, succeeded, but failed to make an impact on the larger gaming community. Upon completing Styx, I realized how rough it really is, and now I'm not even questioning why it wasn't talked about much. It definitely suffers from its sometimes functional parkour/traversal system. I was sporting some rose-tinted glasses going into Styx for the first time in 7 years, and I can definitely say I was wrong. If I've ever told anyone that was worth getting or just good and overlooked, I was wrong. I still enjoy some aspects of the game, but as a whole, it suffers from being undercooked.